I want to preface this project with saying that this is my first iMovie, and so please bear with me. But my name is Corbin Hoffmeister, and I am doing the functions of an animal cell. First, I want to start out with what is a cell? A cell is the smallest unit of life, and everywhere in your body, you are made of cells. On your skin, inside your body, on tissues, anywhere on your body, there are cells. So the image you are currently looking at is if you put a microscope up to your skin, and this is kind of the image you would see. This is what cells look like just as together, and this is how kind of close they are, but they can also be spread out along your body too. But all cells work together. They're not fighting against each other or anything like that, unless, it's a disease, and diseases have cells too, but that's another day. And I also want to point out that while today we are just looking at an animal cell, plants do have cells also. They have a little bit of differences between plant and animal cells, but just for today's purpose, we are going to look at animal cells. So this next image is kind of a more zoomed in of an animal cell, and this kind of shows you a characteristics of it and just a little bit gives you a better idea of what it really looks like. I also want to apologize that these images are going to be a little bit blurry. I can't really use images from Google and transport them to iMovie without them making a little bit blurry, and I'm not tech savvy enough to figure that out. So like I said, just bear with me on some of these images and we'll just get the job done. First, starting with the outermost part of the cell is the cell membrane. And just for this age group that I'm specifically teaching to, all I'm going to mention about the cell membrane is that it protects the cell. It allows certain vitamins to come in, and it doesn't let diseases and things come in. So it's kind of like a protector, and if I want to compare it to anything, I would probably say it's like a gate. It's a gate around a castle, and the castle being all the organelles inside the cell. So it's very important that these cells have these cell membranes, because without it, most cells would probably die from bad things getting in and killing it off. Starting with the next important thing is all the jelly-like fluid inside the cell is called the cytoplasm. Without the cytoplasm, organelles would just be bouncing around and move about everywhere. The cytoplasm kind of keeps them in a more structured, organized look, and it also has vitamins inside the cytoplasm as well that kind of aids the organelles to produce whatever they're doing and just helps them all in all. So next, and personally my favorite, is the nucleus, and within this nucleus are chromosomes. And chromosomes hold our genetic codes, and these codes kind of define who we are, whether if we're going to have brown hair or blue eyes, or if we're going to have a hitchhiker thumb. It's all this information that our parents pass down. So it's pretty important for these nucleus to stay healthy and to not get destroyed, because obviously that kind of helps in who we are. Also, the nucleus kind of just chills in the middle of the cell. It doesn't really move about.
So
Also,
you're
I want
probably
to say
wondering
that these
how the
ribosomes
cell
kind
has
of
so
chill
much
around the
energy to
rough
perform all these
endoplasmic
functions.
reticulum. They kind
Well,
of
they're
just stick
called
to it,
ribosomes,
and
and
we'll get into
ribosomes
more
are
of that to the
made
next slide.
throughout the cell, and they kind of just help the cell keep productions in order, and they provide that energy. So if I could compare the ribosomes to anything, ribosomes are pretty much, I would say, like an energy drink. We've all had one, and it kind of just sparks up our energy to get things done. So previously I said that ribosomes were kind of stuck to the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and the rough endoplasmic reticulum, if you want to label it as RER, and if you want to narrow it more down to ER, if you think of like an emergency room, there are always patients and people outside of it and kind of lingering around until they need to go somewhere else. That's kind of like how the rough ER is like. Ribosomes kind of stick around the ER and just chill there until they need to go somewhere else and help with protein synthesis, and which means that more proteins are made. And that's really all the things that the rough ER does. But also there is the smooth ER. And the smooth ER is right beside the rough, and smooth basically just means there's no ribosomes on it. And all it really does is the smooth ER kind of just helps build calcium ions and just help with drug detoxification and things like that to help maintain a good vitamin inside the cell. So next is the Golgi apparatus, and this is closely beside the nucleus in all the ERs. And the Golgi apparatus is basically like a mail center. It kind of helps sort and packages proteins and vitamins and helps ship them out throughout the cell to wherever the cell may need more energy or needs a little bit more this or that. So it kind of just also helps when shipping out things outside of the cell, which is a big important thing is that once cells make proteins or whatever they're doing, it needs something to take it outside the cell and take it to the rest of our body. And that is what the Golgi apparatus is responsible for. So, like I said, the Golgi apparatus kind of helps ship things about, but I bet you're probably wondering, well, how is this possible? What do they transport through? And they transport through vesicles, and vesicles are aligned all around the cell. And this is kind of basically just like a roadmap of where like functions can go and move about whatever they're making. So, vesicles are very important because without that, things wouldn't get to where they needed to be. So within these transport vesicles are also lysosomes. And if you want to think lysosomes as like Lysol wipes, that's a good way I remember it as. The lysosomes kind of help pick up germs and everything that may hurt the cell or harm it. It kind of eats it up, which is through a phase called phagocytosis, and that's a little bit above this grade level, but it is worth mentioning because that is the main function of lysosomes is that it consumes all these harmful things so that the cell can stay protected. In conclusion, there are many different organelles that make up our cell, and this kind of helps with who we are. And without all these things, then we wouldn't be where we are today. And I hope you enjoyed this video.